Welcome back, people, to another episode of your favorite Red Room, which, as you know, speaks about all things Liverpool, which you know is not the most favorable topic at the moment. Well, surely things have got to change. The title says, as Liverpool hit SOS mode after the break. I have sent out SOS, and look what we brought to the table. We have brought a panel. Jack's in the building today. Jack's usually the man behind the scenes who helps us out and obviously does loads of shows, does the watch-alongs on the Anfield Index YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and liked if you haven't. Make sure you go and check out his stuff that he does. One of the hardest working people on YouTube I know. Jack, welcome to the Red Room.
Hello, bud. Yeah, international football. I was just saying I was supporting Scotland more than certainly England this week anyway, mate. But so hope you're well, mate. Hope you're all well, lads, and anyone watching or listening. And yeah, let's hope we can get some results over the line in the coming weeks to come.
Absolutely. We're good, man. We're good. Listen, the one thing about being in these situations, right, is the only way is up. Yeah, so that's the way to look at it. Let's see if the eternal optimist who's even lost faith in the last couple of weeks, can he raise it again? We have Scousemo in the building as well. Scousemo.
We're going to win the league, Grizz. No, you never know. But yeah, I'm good. I'm glad the football's finally back. International breaks just bored the life out of me because I can't really watch it. So it was good to see Scotland get to the World Cup, though. That was quite nice.
Do you know what? I know you guys all have said in the background and this and that, international football, blah, 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 blah. Come on, guys. It was fantastic this week, man. Come on.
Yeah.
There was some
the Ireland game was good as well.
Oh, Ireland as well, yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Of course it was, man. Come on, guys. You guys are some mad, very, very cynical people, you guys. We've got Welshmo, who's actually Dubai Mo at the moment, because you're out in Dubai. Is that right? With a fresh haircut and a fresh trim? Hello.
Yeah, I've got some work meeting, so I had to have a haircut.
Please don't give me none of this work meeting
but
stuff.
You've all mentioned international football. You didn't mention Wales. We smashed, we won 7-1 and we made the playoffs as well. So come on, I'm going to have to represent them, my Welsh boys. Yeah. So yeah, we got Bosnia in the playoffs, and if we beat them, we either face Northern Ireland or Italy. So most likely Italy, I guess.
Well, there you go. How can we not mention? I wanted to mention Wales because I think that was a fantastic result. Look, Macedonia have been quite a team. This
they haven't conceded. They didn't concede a goal away from home, and they conceded 7 at us. So yeah,
there were 3 goals apparently in the whole campaign before they came to Wales. So you know, yeah. Who have you managed to get in the draw? By the way, the draw was made today, wasn't it?
Bosnia.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Bosnia. That's at home?
That's at home, and if we win that, we get the winners of Northern Ireland and Italy at home as well.
Is that one leg? The final?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
So 2 matches and you can get to the World Cup.
Correct.
Okay.
But I think there's something fundamentally wrong with World Cup qualifiers because Bolivia have lost 10 games and they're in the playoffs. Brazil have lost 6 games and they've qualified. Wales lost 2, finished second in the group, and we're going to end up playing Italy and probably get knocked out. So.
No, don't say that. I don't think Italy are all they are cracked up to be. You have definitely got a chance, especially at the stadium that you guys play with that support. I think Tom Little's in the building for the first time on the Red Room. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But welcome to the Red Room, Tom. How are we?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I can't sit there and say I watched international footy over the break because I didn't watch any of the games. I quite enjoy my little detox from footy.
What's wrong with you, man?
I was getting back into the basketball. I can't lie. I've been watching the basketball again.
Well, I think looking at your tweets, because I love looking at your tweets. Looking at your tweets.
I love looking at my tweets as well.
Make sure you follow Tom Little on Twitter because he's hysterical. I love his tweets and I love winding him up on Twitter as well. And this week, I sense that Tom's been on the FIFA. Because he said we need a minimum of 3 signings. We'll discuss that, by the way. We'll get into discussion and give him the chance to give context. Because Tom Little wants the 3 minimum signings in January. But we will cross that bridge when we get there. Jack, Liverpool are back this week. Premier League football is back this week. Tell the truth. How are you feeling about it? Are you thinking, no, we're over the worst and the only way is up? Or are you dreading it? I mean, tell me your feelings.
Well, we had that a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? After the international break, we thought it was we turned over a new leaf with the big performances, and then obviously coming back, and then back to reality. Really, it's just this season. It's been a mixed bag. Obviously, listening to you lads on the Red Room and across every Liverpool sphere. Really, it's just lack of inconsistency. But we'll speak about transfers tonight as well. But I think we're just trundling over to January and hoping that we can get a couple of players in, mate. It's I'd say I'm positive, mate, but that's probably me being quite naive, really, because I think you look at the performance first 5 weeks, first 5 wins in the season in the Premier League, and then just a lack of inconsistency. But it's that mixed bag, really, of just bringing players into a new system that we'll all speak about tonight. It's square pegs in round holes in certain positions for me, mate. But hopefully we can get the result this weekend. Dicey football. It's going to be difficult. This is the style of game that we've all been worrying you about this season. It's always obviously the City games, the big games this season. Of course, we didn't get the 3 points against City anyway, but the big games we tend to always lift the level. But this is the hallmark. This is the type and style of game that we very much fundamentally struggled this season. And if we can get over this little hurdle, then I think we all right.
It's a positive.
Yeah.
You know what? It's so disheartening, man. Because ever since I've known Jack, and he's been a very, very positive Liverpool fan, and to hear him almost broken there, right? It's like, wow. Now I'll go over to Scousemo. And Scousemo, how are you feeling going into this game? Nottingham Forest, we would have loved a home game. So that part of it's good because at least our record at home, apart from the United debacle, has been fantastic. Could we really have picked a worse opposition, in your opinion?
I mean, if Liverpool playing, I'm always going to be excited. So I'm excited and I'm looking forward to watching the Reds play. That's a granted. Obviously, this season's been a very big mixed bag. Like, it's just been up and down. You seen what I was like before the City game, thinking that we were back and stuff. In terms of Nottingham Forest, I think you get a home game after the international break, the opportunity to stop the rut against a team who I believe are 19th in the league. A team that's just won their first game with their new manager, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Sean Dyche.
Yeah, Leeds 3-1,
Yeah, their first game against Sean Dyche, but they're also a team that hasn't won away from home all season. So if you was going to pick a team to come back to and try and stop the rut that we've been in over the last couple of weeks, I think Nottingham Forest is the perfect pick. This might come back to bite me, but Dyche ball, it's going to be very physical. It's going to be, the ball's going to be in the air, etc. But it's Anfield. We've got a good record at Anfield, as you just said. I think we've lost there only twice at home this season. No, twice this year even. Only once this year, this season at home against United. So yeah, I think it's a good game to come back to. Honestly, if you had to pick a game, you'll probably pick Nottingham Forest in the current form that they're in.
Oh God, she's really done it there, Scousemo. Welshmo, are you going to level it up or are you going to double down? Nottingham Forest, first game back after international break. You're not going to be there, are you, this time?
No, I have to give my ticket away. So it was a choice of sitting in the sun or going to watch Liverpool. I had to.
Oh my God, you sellout! You absolute sellout!
No, I have to do it for work. I have no choice. Like so.
I love the way you put do it for work. I love the
No, I have to pay for these tickets somehow. So
can the Reds get over the line? Can the Reds?
I'm not as confident as Mo. Like last year, Forest haunts me still, and it still haunts Slot. So I hope we just get over the line. Like the only thing to go for us is a home game. You know, the players have had 2 weeks away from the Liverpool bubble with the international teams. Some of the players may need a bit of a pick me up, which I'm a bit concerned about with Dom, with how he went out with Hungary and things like that. So there's a lot of variables, a lot of factors, but I think the home advantage should be enough to see us through. So I'm positive on that side.
Tom, you've been discussing Liverpool till the cows come home, Twitter, YouTube, whatever other platform that you use. They're the only ones that I follow you on. And I've seen that you're concerned, worried, but not given up on Slot. The last time I heard you, has anything changed since then? First question.
I still stand by the the funniest thing I'd want the clubs to do now is give Arne Slot a new contract. I'm fully backing him, because this is a manager who last year had an combined aggregate score against champions of 15-1 in our favour. You don't just forget how to be a good manager overnight. It doesn't happen. There's been a lot of things that have not gone our way this season. A lot of unlucky situations as well this season. And I think something that, it's not pleasant to be reminded of, but something that I think a lot of people did need to be reminded of is the impact that losing Diogo's had on players. As Robbo said, people are trying to go on about how we only bring him up, or we only bring up the situation after a loss. Andy Robertson's just sent Scotland to the first World Cup in how long? And it's the thing he's mentioned, the day of, he can't get him out of his head. So, I've got a lot of sympathy for these players and the situation that the manager's in as well, because he's got to try and get these players through this. Mr. Figueredo, we've had a bit of unluckiness. I don't think it's been as bad as it has been in certain situations. There have been so much been bad, I'm not going to lie, but I do think others have been blown out of proportion a little bit. So I'm still fully backing this manager, and I'm looking at this run of games that we got now. I think we had a very tough start to the season, which people have kind of just glossed over because maybe the names weren't as big, but these teams have ended up playing quite well to start the season. Now, in this next month, we play 4 of the bottom 5. This is where I expect us to now build up that head of steam, get that run of form, get that confidence back on a consistent basis, and then kick on from there.
Jack, Tom's still on the Slot train. Would you say the fans' consensus of opinion, which way do you think it is? What kind of percentage would you give it at the moment? And I'm talking about all fans, match-going fans, international fans, internet fans, everything. Liverpool fan in a totality. Where do you think the percentage is right now, and what's your take on it?
I concur with what Tom says, 100% behind the manager. There's a lot of variables, as he said. It's a unique situation this season. But Liverpool, what we do as a whole, as a football club, and the players stick together in the difficult moments, most importantly. Obviously, I do quite a bit of social media for Anfield Index as well, gauging a lot of posts, a lot of social media videos, and consuming quite a lot of it. It's as you said, the match-going fans, it's very mixed as well. But that's not saying people in the ground are thinking very differently as well. But there's a as you lads said last week, it's the motto of Liverpool, and we give managers time. As long as we see gradual progress. But this, as Tom alluded to and the lads have said already tonight, is he's won the Premier League in the first opportunity. And that's a very rare thing to happen at Liverpool Football Club. And players coming in, players going out to the football club. There's still a lot of rotation in January, mate. But I think it's we'll give Arne time. But that doesn't mean that every Liverpool fan we can't analyse critically. And we'll be disappointed after a result, of course. It's not good. And certainly the expenditure Liverpool have spent on certain individual players, they should be playing better. But that's that culmination of bringing players into a different system. And the manager, learning, he's still a very young manager when you look at his time in European football. He certainly got a big learning curve last year against Paris Saint-Germain. Yes, it was on penalties, but I think going into this season's campaign, he'll learn a lot. Hopefully, we go a bit more deeper into the competition, mate. But yeah, it's a lot of mixed bag, mate. And even going into this season after obviously the difficult year everyone's had in terms of the players and the club. It's difficult, mate. But I think this squad is good enough. The quality is there. It's just a matter of once those square pegs become round and start slotting into the slot system, pardon the pun, it will become a lot more better. And all that noise that got generated off poor performances will very quickly dissipate really into the foreground really and start gradual momentum. And I think Arsenal, a big injury at the back as well. But the main thing is we just focus on ourselves. City will be City for me, but for me, get behind the manager. But if say we went on 6 games defeated, like in the last 7 defeats in the last 10 or whatever it's been last couple of weeks, but if that was to continue for a good 2-3 months, I think there'll be a lot more questions would be raised, certainly.
Mo, I think Tom alluded to the run sort of we got now, and I kind of agree with him. In fact, I actually do agree with him in totality, actually, of what he said, especially that even though we've been crap and we've discussed it, there is no disguising that we haven't been crap. We've been unlucky as well. And when I mean unlucky, I mean in terms of the freaky nature of the goals, for example, against City, fixtures, and the way these fixtures are panned out. Now, these are not excuses before, if there's any Arsenal fans or any other club's fans that say, oh, we're making excuses. No, we have deserved to pretty much get every result that we got. So that's the excuses part out of the way. I'm not making an excuse. But there could be explanations and reasons given how, as I said, the away fixtures in a row, 4 away fixtures in a row or something. We didn't play at Anfield for about 3 weeks or something, 4 weeks. Now we play teams that we have no excuses against. Now we have home fixtures. Now we have enough space in between the fixtures. Now we have returning players from injury. I believe only Frimpong, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, only Frimpong is out. And Alisson's back as well.
Yeah.
So now, like Jack says, we need to see, because I think we're all slot in. Mo switches it up every hour. But the Welsh Mo, Scouts Mo, I think we all slot in, but we absolutely want to see progression, understanding of or return of an identity, and just better fluidity, right? And that has to start Saturday. Absolutely,
that has to start. But honestly, I don't think any fan, any of us, can comprehend what the manager and the players are going through this season. Genuinely. When a player in Diogo, rest in peace, passes away in the summer, someone that was apparently like a big figure within the changing rooms as well, someone that was close to a lot of the players, when someone as big as that passes away in such a, tragic way, you can only imagine how much that's weighing on their shoulders. Like, we look at them as if though they're just figures on a TV. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're just in a way like, they're not really human. They're just football players. Do you know what I mean? But no, they're human beings. We've seen our best player break down into tears after our first game of the season, after we won that match as well. Break down in tears, literally crying his eyes out. And then you see, as Tom mentioned, Andrew Robertson took Scotland to the World Cup for the first time since 1997.
So our best player, so check this out. So our best player cries after winning and scoring the winning goal, right? Check this out, guys. Point to note. And then our vice captain, probably the happiest day of his season so far, probably the happiest day of his Scottish career so far.
Absolutely.
Both times bring out the emotions and remember who? Diogo Jota. So for all the watching media fans and pundits alike that say, oh, Liverpool fans only, or Liverpool only bring it up after losses, flip me fire after the 2 most happiest occasions this season so far, Mo scoring, the winner, and being happy, showed his emotions, crying his eyes out, the most known face in world football, top 3 known faces in world football, crying on your screens. And Andy Robertson, the vice captain, on probably the most glorious Scottish day for him personally, talks about this as well. So it's real. These things are real. They're not excuses, they're reasons.
How does anybody really comprehend this? Nobody can really understand what these players are going through. And you know what? Number one person that you got to give the most grace to is Slot. Like, you don't learn this. You don't learn how to coach players that are going through such devastation. How is he supposed to manage? How is he supposed to motivate?
Great point.
It's not something that you learn in coaching school. It's not something he's learned while he was at Alkmaar or whilst he was at Feyenoord. It's something he's learning on a day-to-day. Some days they might be fine, but the next moment's half-time against Crystal Palace, something might have happened to them. And the mentality is completely flipped. How are you supposed to coach that? How are you supposed to train that? So this season, honestly, you need to give a lot of grace to these players. And it's not even about, like, as Grizz mentioned, it's not just when we lose, it's when our highest moments this season. But saying that, at the same time, we still need to see Liverpool perform on the pitch. Like, there's been a combination of so many things that's happened to us this season that's just been so unfortunate. Like Gravenberch being injured at the beginning of the season and a few knocks and injuries. Our first game of the season against Bournemouth was just so intense. Imagine that being your first game. It's mental. And then playing against Newcastle, it was supercharged after the Alexander Isak situation. And then your third game's against Arsenal, the title contenders. It's mental starts. But then you've got to play Crystal Palace, who've been on a 17-game unbeaten run. And we played them. And then after that, they went on like a 5-game losing record. It's like, you can't write this. And then you go to Galatasaray away, a bear pit. Then you go to Chelsea away, another bear pit. It's just been so much this season. But now, finally, we're going into some normality. I genuinely think the only game that's been normal for us this season, that's been just a normal, nice, calm game, was that Aston Villa game. When you look at all our games this season, every single one of them, I can tell you something that was a little bit more extra. That Villa game was the only one that I can say was just calm, a nice, regular Premier League match. But now, finally, we're going into a nice little period when most of these matches are just going to be calm Premier League matches, and they're not going to have that extra layer of whatever animosity, assigned to it. Nottingham Forest, yeah, they've got a new manager. They won their first game. It's going to be difficult, but it's a good fixture to have. Can't complain. Then you've got West Ham. Although they've had a terrible home record this season, they've won, I think, their last 2 home games at the Olympic Stadium. So maybe they've got a bit more momentum, but it's a good team to play against if they've only won 2 games all season in their stadium. So hopefully the tide can change now and we can just get out of this rut.
Tom, Bossman says, I can't see any fan being happy coming into the season. Feels like we have nothing to play for anymore. Really?
There's a competition that gets played on Tuesday and Wednesday that we just beat the greatest team of all time in. So we're what? We've got, is it 6 points from 9? Or is it 9 points from 12? I can't even remember how many games we played, but there were still...
9.
We're going to be a real contender in that competition. We're going to be a serious threat in that. When you look at the squad this season, it's not what people want to hear, but it's the truth. We look better shaped up for European football and Premier League football at times. Certain new signings just look more comfortable with European football rather than the pace of the Premier League. Certain players just seem to thrive better with the space afforded on the European stage rather than the Premier League. That is still something massive to play for. There's still stuff to play for in the Premier League. 100% the stuff to play for in the Premier League. I've seen seasons where we were 14 points behind and bring it back so it goes to the last day. That happened 4 seasons ago. That's not out the realms of possibility. I've seen my team do it. Is this team maybe, got the same confidence as that team? No. But it's pretty much on the same level ability-wise. We all know what we were saying in the summer about this squad, so I can't sit there and go, this team hasn't got the ability. 100%'s got the ability to win the league title last season. So there's 100% stuff to play for. We've had a bad run. We've had a run that isn't very normal for Liverpool to go through. We've had a run which rightly deserves some criticism for the way we've played some of the games, and rightly deserves some criticism for the way we set up in some of the games. And rightly, some players maybe deserve a bit of criticism for the way they've played. But I feel like to write off the season in November is mental because we are not as far away as people make out. We're really not. And I don't think there's teams around us that are so many levels ahead of where we are. When I think our worst enemy at the minute is ourselves. I don't think there's a team that's been the definition of our kryptonite. It's just our own mistakes, our own failures are the thing that are holding us back. When I go look at the losses that we've had, how many of them losses can I sit there and go, that was just them being better than us? I'll be honest, there's not many. Because a lot of them you sit there and go, well, that goal we conceded was our own fault. That goal we conceded was our own fault. That goal we conceded was our own fault. There's so many of them where you look at it and you just go, if we can cut down on the individual errors that we're making, these losses, these unlucky losses turn into either undeserved or deserved wins, And all of a sudden you look at the league table going, well, that's very different. That's quite different, isn't it? We're now looking at it in a different position. So I'm just trying not to lose context of the season and get drawn into the hysteria around it. There's still an awful lot to play for. And I've maintained this from the start, I don't think we've been as bad as people have tried to make out. I think we've just not had, we had a bit of luck going for us in the first 5, 6, 7 games of the season. That luck hasn't been there for the last month and a half. So once that returns or once it evens out, I think people will start to see the level up with that, and it'll be a level which everyone expects us to be at.
Yeah, I've very early, after about 6, 7 games, I very early predicted that it's unfortunately with the amount of turnover in players, it's going to be a transition season for us. Now I know every Liverpool fan don't want to hear that after winning the league and spending 400 million on. Sometimes you have to think long term, and the reality is not always pleasant to the ears. But I know, and I've also said that I know we're about to be very good again, but it's going to take time, and we have to go through a bit of a shitstorm. And this is a shitstorm we're going through. Mo, what you wanting Saturday? 3 p.m. kickoff. Like Scousemo was saying, it's a regular Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff again. It seems like a normal match. Not much hysteria apart from the Deutsch ball sideshow. What are you anticipating? What are you expecting from Slot in terms of his mindset? And we're going to get into selection and tactics.
Well, normally I'd say I just want 3 points, which I think every Liverpool fan wants the 3 points. But I actually want to see some patterns of play, some attacking patterns of play, some solid defensive plays. Something that mirrors the Madrid performance or even the Villa performance a little bit. I just want to see that kind of performance, just to give not only the team a bit of confidence, but all us fans as well. I think if we put a good performance, solid performance in against the Sean Dyche team, dismantle them systematically and playing beautiful football, then that'll give us a lift going into these set of fixtures. Because let's be honest, as good as these set of fixtures are, they're also a big banana skin for Slot. If he doesn't pick up as many wins as we expect, then there's going to be more pressure on him. So as good as these fixtures are, I think they're also a massive banana skin. So, like, I agree with everything that Tom said. I agree with everything that Mo said. There's so many variables about this season, and we have to consider. But we also have to keep it real a little bit. You know, we're Liverpool Football Club, and the expectations there to win. The expectations are there to finish top 4 minimum. And look, the season's not over yet. We've got a lot to play for. It's only November. We can't write anything off. But I want to see us kickstart that, you know, on Saturday. Put a good performance in, and let's talk positive about the club and forget about the last 5 weeks' negativity. We can only start turning the corner once we have a positive performance and people start speaking positive, and that will breed positivity throughout the fan base and throughout the players. But it has to start, and hopefully it starts on Saturday.
Faraz says this is such an echo chamber after the irony of putting about 4 tweets talking to himself, which is usually the meaning of an echo.
I mean, he's sitting there arguing about my point on luck. That's fine. I can sit there and talk about the luck point. People, we've not played well in certain.
Because you know, people know that I love addressing numpties in the chat. Luck, ? Tough fixtures, ? It's tragedy when blaming the manager, but not the players, ?
I mean, that whole tragedy point was brought up from the fact that we mentioned that Mohamed Salah was struggling and that Andy Robertson and one of the biggest moments of his career struggled with it. So, of course, it's tragedy when it comes to the players. You can question and criticise certain things about them. They are not immune from criticism, but there has to be the understanding of what they're going through. And I don't think anyone's tried to take away from that. On tough fixtures, yes, it is tough fixtures. We've had
the hardest fixtures so far. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
Our away games have been tough. Our home games have been tough. And people will try and discredit that. The first 3 games of the season, we played Bournemouth, who have turned out to be one of the best teams in the league this season.
Super team.
Newcastle, which there was so much emotion in that game, it was always going to be audible. And in Arsenal, who were seemingly runaway champions and best team on the land. We played Crystal Palace away from home on the back of their run of games. We played, you know, I sit there and look at all of them. We played Man City away from home. We played tough teams throughout this run. We've played teams that maybe people didn't think would be tough at the start of the season, but have emerged as bright contenders this season. When it comes to luck, I will say, look, the Man City game, were we good? No. Did any luck go our way in that game? No. The Crystal Palace game, were we good? No. Did any luck go our way in that game? No. Manchester United, were we good? I don't think we were as bad as gets made out. Did any luck go our way? No, with the post 4 times. And the referee didn't stop the game for a head injury, which he stops it for 99% of the time.
Yep.
A lot of these small margins just haven't went our way in the last month or two. And people don't want to hear that because they just want to find a figure or a person to sit there and blame because that is the be-all, end-all, 100% correct answer. That's not the case. That's not the case. There's a multitude of factors which go into it. And yes, I believe luck is one. We haven't had that luck that we had at the start of the season go our way in the last month. The Man City game, they had a worldie from Doku. Canate's headed it onto Haaland's head. And the second goal is a deflection off Van Dijk. 5 minutes after we've had a perfectly good goal disallowed for offside, which everyone knows was the incorrect decision. If you want to talk about luck, that's luck. That's luck. The game changed like that. And I'm not using it to excuse the results. That's what people forget. It's not being used to excuse the results.
Stephen, if you've just joined the show now, I understand why you would write this. But if you go back 5-6 minutes, I literally said that we don't deserve anything out of those games that we lost. So I've owned up to saying that we deserve to lose them, but we're trying to give context to behind them in terms of was every performance stinky as the result? And we don't believe, or some of us don't believe that. But anyway, if you write this again, then if you carry on saying the same thing again and again, I'm just going to time you out. It's boring. Say something constructive and critique positively. Jack, we need to pick a team for Dashball. As I said, it seems as though we have a full clean bill of health apart from Frimpong. Is there any drastic changes that need to be made to the personnel or even system in your head at the moment?
I think we all might mention it on terms of the system a bit later as well, mate. But I think for me, it's just play. I'd say basically the midfield, McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai. The biggest conundrum, especially from a tactical perspective, I think everyone's might have mentioned it, every Liverpool fan, is utilising Florian Wirtz in this Liverpool system. Again, in international football, got 2 assists for Germany in the last game, so he's playing well. He's got a striker in Germany and Walter Mader that actually finishes in the penalty box, which is very helpful. If Mo can start putting some goals in, Hugo can certainly do the job as well, mate. And I think Tom spoke absolutely spot on, really, in terms of just getting a good run of form, really, and just once everything clicks, and it's just silly little headers as well, mate. It's once we eradicate them, then I think the lads will start playing with certainly a lot more confidence. But especially, I'd like to see Anfield be a bit more of a fortress, mate. But from a tactical perspective, mate, similar backline, Bradley, obviously Canate, Van Dijk, Andy Robbo, depends. No, actually, I think Kirkers might come in given the amount of minutes he played in the international break.
There's a dilemma there, isn't there? There's a selection dilemma there, and we'll get everyone else's opinion on it.
Yeah,
Kirkers. The thing is, Robertson's coming off a high. Kirkers is coming off a low. But Robertson's played 2 highly intensive games in a short space of days. Kirkers is the younger, fitter player. Then we've got a European game, which tends to be more favourable towards Kirkers in this current state of form. It's a tricky one.
Yeah, it's interesting, mate. But as we said at the top of the show, for me, it's if we can get a result against this style of play, they've got a lot of quality, as we'll speak about tonight as well. But a very high calibre. I love Murillo, the Brazilian centre-half, phenomenal centre-half. A lot of quality. Morgan Gibbs-White, everyone knows his quality. So you've got some very good individual players. As we've seen under Nuno last season, very good structurally, sitting behind the ball. Certainly one of the best counter-attacking sides when you get playing. Not under Ange. Thankfully, well, I would have loved to have played Ange football. at Anfield with this Forest side, but sadly that's not the case, mate. But
Were
yeah, I
they
think
any
it'll
good
be
at anything under Ange? Or
not.
did they just have 8 games that they threw away?
But you
Yeah.
see that's
Taking
another
the
thing
piss.
where we've been unfortunate, like situations like that. Why didn't we get Nottingham
Yeah.
Forest when they had
It's
Ange?
just typical.
Why didn't we get West Ham when they had Graham
When they
Potter?
had Graham Potter? Like
Yeah.
it's just been these small little things. Like I'm not gonna
They're
use
funny
it as
to
an
other
excuse, but
people.
it's
They're
what it
funny
is.
to rival fans, but when you're on the end of these kind of
Yeah.
scenarios
What
and
it is.
situations, it's mad frustrating.
Last year, all these kind of things went our favor.
Went our way.
Went
Absolutely.
in our favor, and
And
it
Arsenal
helped us.
fans hated it.
And it was the opposite for
Hated it.
Arsenal. It was like all the bad things were happening to them. But this
Yeah,
season,
yeah,
I feel like just a small, that 1% can make a huge difference in football.
100%. At the top, at the fine margins at the top of the tree is far from between. But Jack done a Welsh mole there. I asked him a question
Sorry.
about
Went on a
Kirk and
tangent.
Robbo. Yeah, and he went. I don't know where he went up to bloody Gibbs White and all sorts, and Andrew and all sorts. Here's a Robbo. You chickened out. I need an answer.
Kirkes, mate. Yeah,
Kirkes.
he's the younger lad anyway, out of obviously Robbo, any so.
Okay, and Wirtz or Gakpo, because you've picked your 3 in midfield, which we'll discuss, see if everyone else agrees with that. You've Gakpo or Wirtz?
Gakpo, just because of his height, because he's got a lot of big 6'2", 6'3" lads for us, one of the tallest teams in the division. Just mainly for that, I think.
Scorelord says, please don't start Gakpo, so he agrees with you.
And I know Gakpo doesn't win headers, but you've just got to get a big man in there. Like he's got to start.
Stevie says Alisson coming back is going to give the team a massive boost. Mo, that's a massive boost, isn't it?
Oh.
Alisson's back. Again, I'm going to ask you the same, probably the 2 questions. By the way, did McAllister play for Argentina, lads?
Yeah, he did.
Twice?
No, they only played once, I think, and it was like a week ago. So that's the only. Usually, after an international break, I'm always
He's
saying
the first name I don't want anywhere near the squad even.
Don't let him play. He just come back from like the mountains in Bolivia 24 hours ago. But this time it seems like he hasn't played in a while. You can double check that, lads.
85 minutes against Angola.
But when was that? Like on the 14th?
14th, yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost a week difference. So I'm more than happy for him to play. Usually I'll be like...
Are you picking him?
Yeah, no, I would pick him for this match, to be honest. Usually I would go with Jones after an international break, but we'll go with him. The comments about Alisson, let's not underestimate how big of a difference it's going to make. Yeah. Just having Alisson Becker in goal. Listen, lads, he's the best goalkeeper in Premier League history, in my opinion. And having him in goal or Mamardashvili in goal, who looks promising, it's just a huge difference. The back line's going to feel a lot more comfortable. Our team's going to feel a lot more comfortable. Even the small elements, like for some reason we keep on passing it to Mamardashvili's right foot. Do you know what I mean? Even though he's left-footed, and it's just frustrating. At least with Alisson, he is right-footed, and from what I've seen,
we're gonna have to remember. I reckon we're so numpties at the moment.
We'll start passing it to Alisson's left foot.
If that happens, mate, I'm going crazy. Nah, but having Alisson in goal is just huge. Like he's the best goalkeeper in the world, mate. So yeah, that's gonna be a massive difference. I agree with that back 4. I think Kirkes should start this game. Robertson, after playing back-to-back 90s with Scotland, you're better off just giving him a rest, because we need to bear in mind, I think we're playing like 8 games or 9 games in the next 4 or 5 weeks. It's mental. It's 2 games every week, isn't it? From here on out. Yeah. So rotation is going to be necessary. It's going to be very important. So yeah, I agree with that. Defense, I agree with that. Midfield. The only question for me is Gakpo or Wirtz. I feel like Gakpo's overhated sometimes. Like I think I was one of the OG Gakpo haters, but now I've become a little bit softer on Gakpo.
Sympathetic towards him now.
Because like when everyone jumps on one of the players, I'm like, yo, chill. This is my niche. Now everyone's jumping on him. It's like, nah, I'm not liking this. Do you know what I mean? It's similar like Kirkes. You know, like in the beginning, I was like, nah, I'm not feeling this guy. But now everyone seems to hate him. I'm like, nah, that's my boy. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, it's a £150 million player. I'll start with Wirtz, but yeah, Nottingham Forest still going to be a difficult test. And one of the players you never mentioned is Elliot Anderson. And I hope that's one that Liverpool are looking for in the future, I'll be honest with you.
I was going to ask Tom and Welshmo, what are we looking at in terms of the Forest? But I quickly want to get your thoughts on the lineups. Is there any changes, Tom? Any radical or crazy thoughts going through your FIFA head?
I mean, there was a part of me that thought about playing Szoboszlai at right back so we could have more midfielders, but I think I'm not going to do that. I would start Kerkez, but I would only do it on the basis that Curtis Jones is playing on the left side because
So
Curtis
McAllister.
over McAllister. Because so far this season, Curtis Jones is the only one that's shown me on a consistent basis he can cover an area whilst the fullback goes forwards. So it means that Kerkez doesn't get stuck doing the left centre-back role, which he can't do, because when he's in his own half, as much as I think he'll come good right now, he frustrates me, because when he's in his own half, he can't pass forwards. When he's in his own half, it has to go sideways to Van Dijk. So my idea is if you just put Curtis Jones in that area, Curtis Jones can drop in and Kerkez can then get forward into areas he's more comfortable in. And then you've got your Gakpo Wirtz situation. I can hear both sides. I really can. I think for this game, though, if I'm playing Kerkez, I'd probably go Wirtz, just so Kerkez can have the left-hand side to himself and get forwards as much. When it's Robbo's a bit happy to be deeper, and then that midfielder can go forwards a bit more. And it probably makes a bit more sense for Gakpo then, because you need someone to hold the width on that left-hand side. But I don't want Kerkez coming into the middle. He doesn't look comfortable anywhere in any central role. So I'd rather have two guys on the left and a centre mid who can cover for him and then drift inside and offer him options for his passing. So I'd probably go Wirtz on the left.
By the way, guys, I know, I think we kind of assumed, but I don't know what we assumed. Isak or Ekitike?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. I got checked out the chat with my internet. I don't know if you were all starting this second front up. So
go then, Mo. Go. You start. You start in case because I know you're going to start copying. So you go first.
No. I copying. I would generally play Isak at front, Hugo on the left, Mo on the right, and then my midfield would be Wirtz, Dom, and Grav, because I think we're going to have a lot of a ball. You know, if this was an Ange Forest, then yeah, I'd change it up. But this is a Dyche Forest, so they're going to sit back. They're going to try and get us on the counter. They're going to go for long balls. They're going to go for corners. We're going to see a lot of the ball. And we signed Wirtz to unlock these defences. And look what he did for Germany on the weekend, midweek. 2 amazing assists, like top-level assists. The first one, I can just picture that ball for Salah. And the second one, they were brilliant. They were superb assists. So this is a player we signed to unlock these stubborn defences. And Isak, look, we got to start playing him. You know, he's had, he didn't have a pre-season. Now he's had 3 months pre-season now. You know, we got to test this Poppadom groin out at some point to see if it is a Poppadom groin or if it is a proper groin, you know. So I'd play him. And people say, well, what happens if he gets injured? And then you bring on Gakpo as a secondary striker. That's why I'll leave Gakpo on the bench and give Isak 60, 70 minutes. Hopefully we've got a 2-goal cushion and bring Gakpo on and put him up front. He's got, you know, he can still do a job up front, in my opinion. So that's what I would do. I'd go Isak, left Hugo, and Wirtz behind him.
Hugo. No one had that in their bingo cards, did they? Mo's come out with the revolutionary tactics there, guys. We forgot about that option. Ekitike on the left and Isak through the middle and Mo.
But he smashed it for France on the left. He absolutely smashed it playing for France on the left, and he scored a goal. You know, so it's not the worst idea in the world.
No. This is one of your better ones. I would have let you know if it's one of your worst ones. Scout Mo, anything to add to that one? You was nodding your head in agreement or disagreement?
No, I agree and kind of disagree at the same time. Like, I think, you know, us Liverpool fans, I don't think we're used to having a big squad. This is one of our biggest problems. I think we need to, like, enjoy this. We've got 2 world-class strikers, and if one of them is not 100% fit just yet, and the other one is, you might as well play the one that's 100% fit. Do you know what I mean? And then you can gradually, slowly bring Isak into the team. We've got a lot of games to come. I'm not just looking at the next game at Nottingham Forest. I'm thinking Nottingham Forest, PSV, and West Ham in the space of 7 days. So I'm thinking both of these strikers are going to have a lot of minutes on that pitch in the next 7 days. Putting them both on the team at the same time is a great idea. I agree with Welshman. I think it's a good idea. But we don't necessarily need to do that just yet. We've got we've got options to play on the left wing at the moment. We've seen Wirtz do that a couple of times. Even maybe he wasn't at the highest quality, but against Real Madrid, he was really good from that side. And we've had Gakpo, who's been very effective in a lot of games this season and a lot of games from last season. So there's no need to actually go full out, both of our strikers. Let's be PSV like it's it's a Champions League final. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the way I'm looking at it. I'm thinking long term, slowly ease Isaac in. And this is one of the more frustrating things that I've seen with Slot this season, was when he said, oh, he's 100% fit now. You can judge him from this day forwards. And he brought him into the team, and then he gets injured straight away. And then Hugo comes back into the team, and you can see Hugo over the last couple of weeks, he hasn't been performing to the same level as the beginning of the season, but he hasn't had that rotation. He hasn't had a player to swap with Isaac. So this is the luxury that we're in finally after so many years of having options off the bench. I remember under Klopp when it was Salah, Mane and Firmino. Like, it was always Salah, Mane, Firmino. If not, then it's Origi. If not, it's Shaqiri. Do you know what I mean? But now it's, oh, Isaac or Hugo Ekitike. Oh, it's Gakpo, or is it Florian Wirtz? Like, we're talking about superstars across the field. When we was competing against City a few years ago, how many superstars they have? Mahrez, Sané, Sterling. They had Bernardo Silva. They had so many options. Now we're in that position where we've got these options. We've got a squad. Let's utilize it.
Yeah. Enough of boring football Saturday 3 p.m. dashboard kickoffs. Who cares about that? We only care about transfers. And a few names have been linked, strongly linked. Sudden emergence of Antoine Semenyo. When I say sudden, we knew of interest in the summer, but sort of it's come to a head where David Ornstein released that he's got a release clause, and we're front runners at the moment. Jack, a lot of debate, and we've only got about 10 minutes or so to tuck into this, so we're going to try and get through as many talking points as we can about this. A lot of debate about, oh my God, how we signing or looking to sign an attacker over a defensive midfielder or a defensive player, a centre-back. Are you a bit confused with the thinking, or what's your thoughts on it?
Spoke to a couple of mates, and it's just it's obviously Slot's comments in the week as well in regards to the system. If we're changing to a 3-back January time or whatnot, if Gakey comes in, I still feel a 3-back with the players that we've signed would utilise the squad a bit more better. But it's that having that ability to adapt and being a lot more fluid. As Mo alluded to just then, it's a great opportunity to have if you can bring in Semenyo. Especially as we've already spoken about.
Are you a fan?
Yeah, I love him. He's very direct, very bow-footed, can play on the left, can play on the right as well. 25 years old, similar age that we brought Sadio Mane in, and the profile of Firmino and other players of that ilk. So we're building for the next 5-6 year period, and I think he's certainly a more Arne Slot type of player. We missed that Luis Diaz energy. But I think in terms of goal output, you're getting Isaac Ekitike in and then creating that width. But I love him, mate. It'd be fantastic. We can bring him in. And another player by the looks of it that we're nicking off Spurs again. So, yeah, was it Mane said today that he turned down Spurs and it was close, and then we pinched him like we did with Diaz, and it looks like we're doing it with Semenyo as well. So, long may it continue, mate. Phenomenal player, man.
Quick roundup of Semenyo thoughts. The player that we need, Scousemo, or situation is such that if a good player comes, you get him whenever the season, wherever the weather.
Yeah, I think he's a very good player, very dynamic, very powerful, fast. A lot of qualities that we seem to be missing at the moment. Both footed as well, and he's played with Kerkez. He created an amazing left-hand side last season for Bournemouth, Kerkez and Semenyo. I don't know whether Semenyo is going to be playing on the left-hand side. We could maybe talk about that as well, but most likely at the moment he'll be playing on the left-hand side. So maybe he can help Kerkez develop at Liverpool as well. Another thing that I found quite interesting, at first when we was linked with him and the talk was like he's going to come in at the beginning of January, I was thinking, oh, isn't Ghana in the AFCON? And then I checked it up and Ghana never qualified for the AFCON. Like, what? I couldn't believe it. So that's another advantage, because obviously Salah's gone. Bringing in Semenyo at the beginning of January, he can slot him perfectly on that right-hand side. Happy days. I mean, obviously, we need to fix our defense. Like, we've got more issues in defense and midfield, but I've always said that we needed to sign another attacker, especially like a left-hand side attacker. as I've already mentioned, I'm Gakpo's biggest fan, and I always viewed Wirtz as a central attacking midfielder. So Semenyo for 60 mil, you can't complain, honestly. I think it's a great signing, and hopefully he's wearing Liverpool shirt come 1st of January.
Tom Little, Semenyo thoughts?
I think he's a very good player. I think he addresses a big problem that we have, which is the quality off the ball work in the front line. I think we lost 3 very good to elite off ball players in the summer and replaced them with 3 good to bang average players because they're better at other things. But we almost lost sight of what you need off ball, and I think Semenyo, as good as he is on ball, I think he's got 2nd or 3rd top scorers in the Premier League this season. The energy that he plays with, the work rate that he has, that can only be a welcome addition to a front line, which at times is very easy to play through. So I'm all for him. I think he's very good. I think he's very good. He probably fits a criteria for homegrown as well, which we're probably going to need if we want to start moving certain players on. So yeah, I'm all for it. A little bit. It's the prices. It's probably hard to go and rate the price, but when you consider the likes of the guy I want to go out scale, he went for a similar price last time. He just sit there, or last January, he sit there and go, if only we'd managed to get that one over the line. But look, I'm all for Semenyo. I think he's a very good little pickup, and I think it's Premier League proven as well, which is I think something that we really need.
You look at it, Alanga went for like 55 mil in the summer. It's just cooked, lad. Just in terms of the numbers and the prices, I don't even look at it no more. I'll be honest with you.
Mad, isn't it?
Welshmo, Antoine Semenyo fan, the right signing, or your thoughts on the man?
Yeah, I just echo everything that Tom has said as well, and Mo has said. I think he's a good player. I think off the ball, you'll offer a lot. He's powerful. He's robust, which is great. He doesn't pick up many injuries, which is good for us. He's ambidextrous. He can play on both sides, which will offer competition for Mo, which he desperately needs. A kick up his backside. My only concern is the price, but like you said, the 60 million player is now the old 30 million player, isn't it? And the 100 million player is now the old 50 million player. That's the way I'd look at it with the inflation and the way the market's gone. And I also think our hand's been forced a little bit. I think ideally Liverpool would have wanted to sign him at the end of the season. But I think with clubs like Spurs and Man United, I think, sniffing around, similar to the Luis Diaz situation when we signed Luis Diaz in January, our hand was forced because I think Spurs were trying to tap him. I think opportunistic signing, as Liverpool like to say, I think this is definitely falls into that bracket. And with Richard Hughes having close ties with Bournemouth, and I think we'll get a better, the best deal possible. So yeah, I'm all for it. We need a bit of power in our midfield and our attack, and I think he definitely adds that.
People that are in our WhatsApp group will know that. Well, you guys will know that I posted something about 2 weeks ago. I'm going to drop a bomber in a video, and I still haven't dropped that video. But that's just me. But now it's all out there. There's no point dropping that video. You guys will vouch that I said I'm going to drop a bomber, but I got ill. but I'll still drop that video, and I'll still post what I think I know about the deal and how advanced it is and what the situation is. So make sure you're subscribed to Grizz Khan TV as well. A little plug for myself. Sometimes you've got to plug yourself in it. No one else will. No one else gives a shit. But yeah, guys, we've got to end this show because I think we've got to end it on a positive. And I think we've started off a little bit of a negative, but we worked ourselves into a bit of optimism, transfers, positivity. Scousemo went through our options, our world-class squad. Hey, listen, we're supporters. We're here to support, man. Let's enhance that support. And listen, if they don't perform, we'll be here to criticize and lambast, because Nottingham Forest at home, there is no excuses. And the next set of fixtures, there is no excuses. So we may have done the excuses and the reasons and the excuses, FC tags and all that. But now, moving forward, we must. People, this has been another brilliant episode of Red Room. We will see you next week. Hopefully more positivity. Until then, make sure you check out all the guys' socials, and peace, love, and tranquility to you all. Take care.